Hey, what's good, people? We're back. This is Sports Debate Tuesday. No, it's that guy. That dude. It's Rob McLean. The episode starts right now. All right, you know I gotta sing it. Hated I love it, the underdogs on top. I'm gonna shine, homie, until my heart stops. Go ahead, envy me. I'm Rap's MVP, and I ain't going nowhere, so you should get to know me. Man, been a fun couple of weeks, man. I know you got some tournaments in, got some training in. I've been to New Orleans. I went to Wisconsin, going to Atlantic City. A lot of traveling around, COVID's kind of waning down, and we getting
Yes.
back to our normal life, dude. And we sang a little karaoke last night, so my voice gonna be a little bit hoarse. But hey, thank you for joining us, people. This is episode 67, along with my man Rob. Keep it McLean. I'm your host with the most. I'm Jason DeBeers, and we got some fun subject matter, and we have some annoying subject matter that we gotta exist there. But hey, it's if we don't talk about it, it will be sports malpractice. All right, so. But Rob, what's good? What's good?
What's happening, brother?
Nice. Rob's like, I'm all about that action, boss. I'm here so I don't get fined. All right, so hey, we UFC's coming up. Got the trilogy. Got McGregor, Dustin Poirier. They both KO'd each other. One was TKO and one was just a straight up starching. He just caught him on the way down hard. If you remember that second one. Um, yeah, of course we got to talk about Sha'Carri Richardson. We got to talk about PEDs versus banned substances. That's gonna be on to shame or not to shame. So if it spills over, it spills over. Beach volleyball, our wheelhouse. Something with oddly enough we're the least comfortable talking about. But Olympics is coming up. The pools are out. But first things first, Rob. Let's go to the NBA. All right. Now we got the second seed in the West, the Suns, and the third seed in the East, the Bucks. Then now the last two teams standing, and they're both in the NBA Finals, and what looks like to be a fast-paced NBA Finals. Love me some Chris Paul. Love that the Bucks have enough depth on their team, and the operative word being team, to survive and some say back into the finals, but I wouldn't say that. If you do it without Greek Freak, you did something. So Rob, 3 seed East, 2 seed West. Who wins?
Man. I don't know exactly what Giannis is going to be able to do. Obviously, he put up
Yeah.
47 and 11, so he's
Yeah.
not too hurt.
He's listed as
But
doubtful for tonight, so I'll put that
right.
out there.
So I don't know. It's a long series. If they're going to minimize his minutes, um, Middleton's got to show up. If Middleton shows up how he has for the last 2-3 games, that was real. That's a real deal. He's not trying to shoot threes all the time. He's trying to just create a shot and make every shot he can. Yeah, that's a real team. But at the end of the day, the Suns are actually the least injured team. Usually they're either Chris Paul was out. That was massive for them. They had Cameron Payne hurt. Devin Booker got hit in the face. Aiton got the ankle or the knee. So it's like I just feel like as a team, the continuity between the Suns is just too much to overcome for the Bucks. I really want the Bucks to win the championship. I love both these teams. I don't care who wins, but what if I had to choose? I'm gonna have to go with the Suns. I think they had a much tougher route to get through, and they made it look maybe a little easier than people thought. You know,
There's something about going through like a grueling playoffs, like where iron sharpens iron. And you mentioned at the end of your soliloquy about the tougher road. If you can get through that tougher road uninjured, it's like you're prepared. You're just more mentally tough to win a finals. You're more mentally prepared to be in tight game situations where it doesn't feel as it just feels more normal instead of like something new. Or not foreign, because they're in situations like that all the time, right? But in the playoffs against the same team where that constant pressure is going to come every night, right? You don't have an easy game the next night, or no problem. We got can't even name a bad team, Sacramento or whatever. You got that same team. Um, every other night. so, so with that being said, well, let me pick my winner first, but there's some important things I wanted to talk about in this playoff run because we haven't seen each other in a minute. I gotta go with the Suns. I think the Suns got more depth. I think they got more leadership. Chris Paul, look, when he came back, it looked like he was hurting the team more than helping him. He was just shooting bricks. He was, his handle was some. I mean, his handle was there, but it looked like it held on by a thread. And then something happened the last couple of games where he was the field general. And now I'm like, good. Now you could do now I'm comfortable watching them State Farm commercials. Cause I mean the way I grew up watching the NBA, when you saw a basketball player, right? It was because they had a ring, right? The commercials and all that stuff, all the endorsements comes with winning championships, or their personality was so extroverted they can't be ignored. You look at people like Charles Barkley, right? Or the mailman, Karl Malone, or I mean, yeah, Ewing. I don't know. Ewing is just beloved as a nice person, but he's also, should have had a ring. So I'm picking them. And the elephant in the room that we wanted to talk about, I guess, does it matter? Do they win whether the Greek Freak or Giannis plays or not? And I think the answer to that is yes. I think if Greek Freak's in there, I'm not saying they're a better team without him. I'm not saying Brook Lopez has been the second coming of Christ or whatever, even though he's been playing like it's particularly in Game 5, right? He put up like a 33 burger and God knows how many rebounds. And that skyhook, look, that skyhook brought back Kareem Abdul-Jabbar memories. But you look at Greek Freak, he wasn't particularly good at the free throw line. He's been settling for a lot of threes. He's 17% from downtown. I mean, it's not something, not the smartest thing in the world. But Middleton is going to make it a series. Middleton has been the catalyst, right? He's been dishing off. He's been taking shots. He's been very Westbrookish, where he's involving everybody and himself in the play. So they won't get swept. I just think they're too good for that. But I picked the Suns 4-1. I picked the Suns 4-1. I think Game 3 is going to be tight, and that determines if they go with a Game 6 or whatever.
I think it's going to be the same as this series, this past series with the Clippers. 4-2, good series. Good Game 6. But again, the Suns have had a fantastic record on the road this playoff series. Not only on the road, but closing on the road.
Right.
So they're going to have chances to close on the road. That's all I'm going to say. And I think that's where the strong point is. They take that animosity from the other building and they kind of turn it in their favor and they want to finish. So yeah, there's going to be a tough team to beat.
Yeah, I got a question for you. What's your level of excitement or disappointment in injuries happening to star players or key players in each team? I think I want to go first as far as the answer. I was not happy at first, but when you saw people like Terrence Mann step up, how about Reggie Jackson? How about Trae Young? Nice coming out party, right? Beat the 4 seed or beat the 1 seed, or whatever the Knicks were, the 4 seed, and then beat the 1 seed, beat the Sixers. So watching some of these people say, "Hey, I'm a star too," or "I could put up points too," and now they got to be recognized coming into next season, it's only good for the sport. Thoughts?
Yeah, I just I have to say I think it's both sides, and I don't know why it can't be. I don't think the season should have started short. You can't. I mean, it started early. I don't think you can deny that the injuries are clearly a reason from overuse and overplaying. 2 seasons in the timeline of basically a season and a half. But yeah, of course, I think it would be amazing that we have the option to, or the ability to have all these other players out there to play and keep the games pretty high level. Like they're all good, very good players. You didn't have Kawhi Leonard, but the Clippers looked fantastic. You didn't have LeBron and AD, but the Lakers still pull up a really nice fight. So I just think at the end of the day, you need to protect those star players. Give them an out. Give them like the NFL did. Hey, you don't have to play this season. You guys just played a roll-around season. You can get a certain amount of your contract. But the fact of saying, like, you have to play because the guys at the bottom aren't going to be able to get paid now. I mean, I just think this whole situation could have been averted a long time ago. And the NBA just really did not handle that correctly. They kind of just strong-armed their players into playing. So this is what they get. And hopefully, because again, after injury, you have no guarantees. Hopefully, Jamal Murray comes back right. Hopefully Kawhi Leonard comes back correct. Hopefully, some of these guys who have major injuries, hopefully Joel Embiid comes back 100% fully. Big guys like that, they get injuries in their knees and their feet. That could be their career. That could be the limiting point in their career. So I just think it's a really terrible move on the NBA. But I also believe that it is a great opportunity they created for those younger players. So.
Damn, I was gonna actually just close up shop with that, but I think what I wanted to say was I would like to see them not load manage as much, because what happens, they're taking these games off, you have all these big gaps, and then all of a sudden, when they want to make the playoffs, now all of a sudden they go from load managing to doing these 42-minute games and 44-minute games, and I think that's what gets players hurt, right? I mean, yeah, they started late, and yeah, it is risk averse or whatever, but it's not like I don't want to sound like I'm not empathetic or sympathetic, but damn, man, it's not like they waiting tables at night. It's not all right. It's not like the nights that they're not playing. They're trying to make their nuts somewhere. No, but no, I totally get it. There's no doubt the correlation suggests that the shortened season and the injuries are very connected. They're. I mean, I don't know the logical or the scientific connection, but yeah, I mean, there's a hell of a bunch of coincidences that happen, and that did happen, and the question is, going forward, what do they do about it now? I mean, next season's going to be a normal season. I'm very interested to see if they have a lot of those injuries too. And I mean, for the people listening, like elite athletes, injuries, there's nobody that plays 100%. There's no, I mean, from mixed martial arts to football to basketball to our wheelhouse, volleyball, beach volleyball, nobody comes in saying, I got nothing wrong with me. It's just yes. Something they deal with. It's just, but an 82-game season, man, Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I think there's the difference between being hurt and being injured is something that's kind of lost among, sports people, because we play this game like, oh, I'm not really that hurt, or I'm just hurt. I'm not injured. Let's say to use the words correctly.
No, that's it.
They go on injuring themselves when they could have just taken some time off and, done something else, because there's that ideology where you got to just push through it and then you'll be better for it. Yeah. Mentally, yes, maybe, but physically, no. So at the end of the day, it is very difficult to say, this and that. But
what a cool movie that was! Remember The Program?
Program,
Omar Epps, he got hit. College football movie. He got hit really hard, and the coach is like, "Are you hurt or are you injured?" He's like, "What's the difference?" Right. He says, "If you're hurt, you can play, and if you're injured, you can't." So which one? He's like, I'm hurt.
Right. So yeah, I think that's just a big distinction, and it'll help out a lot to, sway, because if you're hurt, you could play through it. You could just take a little rest and come right back and improve.
I personally rather have him not play, because I don't like that excuse bullshit. You lose. Oh, if I wasn't hurt, I would have won. No, to me,
but
once you make that decision, no, because what happens if they play hurt and they win? Don't they get the credit for it? I mean, why can't they take that hot L?
I think I think a long time ago, like nobody was really giving Jordan praise for playing in the flu game. Yeah. I'm not saying right after, but it was more like, oh, okay, cool, they won this game, that's amazing, that's great, but they still got more to do. You know what I mean? So it's like,
but you know how many seasons he played all 82 games too, though?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
but again, that's a different mentality where it's like, think about that. He played all 82, and they're still saying like, oh, I hope he doesn't not play this game, because we really need him. It's like,
and Kobe
he just
too.
Played 82 games.
But Kobe was same. Kobe said we have an obligation to the fans. Someone out there, someone saved a whole bunch of money to buy a ticket to watch me play. And I really, God, man. Mamba always got my respect for that, man. Oh my God, man. So listen, we I don't know if we got anything on quick question, whatever, but right now we move on to mixed martial arts. We'll wrap up NBA for now. Mixed martial arts got a big event coming up. We got the trilogy. We have Conor McGregor, who's the biggest moneymaker in the history of mixed martial arts, and certainly one of the highest paid players in the sport. I mean, post Floyd Mayweather, he's been doing these ridiculous, what I'm saying, like, ridiculous contracts for these fights, not to mention pay-per-view points, not to mention everything else that comes with it. He wants to run this one back. He got KO'd by Dustin Poirier in the second round, and Poirier saw he was hurt, and then Poirier came up with that combination that looked boxer worthy. He didn't even throw any leg kicks or whatever. Man, he did this combination where it looked like Conor was getting hit by like four forearms or like four fists. You just couldn't see him coming fast enough. So Conor starched him. He tried to duck one the first fight. Conor knocked him out. Actually called it first round knockout. Dustin Poirier, he got rocked the first round, the second match, right? A little bit, but it was a different weight class. So I guess I'm gonna go first on since I'm talking. The question is who's gonna win this main event. So I'm gonna continue to go first on this. 145. Really looked like Dustin couldn't, take a lot of the. You feel Conor's power, man. You're gonna get starched. But 155, a lot of these guys, who could come in the weigh-ins of 170, 175. It looked like Dustin got rocked and he got hit. And any normal person, if you look at the slow motion, looked like they should have just got knocked into the Stone Ages. But Dustin was like, "Ow, okay, he got me. Let me keep my hands up. I can't take too many of those." But I ate it. So when I saw Dustin eat some of those shots the way he does, I see this fight kind of playing out the same way. But I think as far as Conor's mental preparation and as far as his coach coming up with new ideas on how to win some of these run backs, I got to go with Conor. I got to go with Conor in the trilogy. I'm going to go with Conor actually second round. I think Dustin's going to sustain a lot of damage the first round, and I think it's going to happen a lot like Eddie Alvarez. The only difference is like Dustin's a nasty lefty, man, and Conor's had trouble with lefties. Nate Diaz was left-handed, so wow, really really tough to pick one on this because they're both so worthy, and this is Dustin's time too, right? Isn't it his time too? I go with Conor second round. Who you got?
It's a tough one because I really like both fighters as fighters. I liked Conor a lot more when he was younger, but when you're talking about the fight, Dustin, man, when I saw that last fight, very mature, very mature fighter, especially offensively. And I think that's a lot of, from their first fight with McGregor. Like he knew he had to grow up on his feet. He thought he was a good striker and kind of just completely outclassed him just now with natural talent. And still, even to this day, Conor can hit that 1-2 better than anybody in the game, and he can just shut your lights out. Yeah. So
it's like a fake 1-2. It's like the right as a fake, goes straight into that.
Just like Adesanya, or just like what's his name, Kamaru Usman. Yeah, it's just like that touch one. But at the end of the day, Conor is not really all around martial art. He's just not, he's more of a boxer or a kickboxer, in an MMA suit. So I think that Dustin just has too many tools to win this fight. Imagine what happens when it goes to the ground. Imagine what happens, if they get into a brawl. The only way Conor wins this fight, and this is the way I'm trying to see fights now, the only way Conor wins this fight if he totally outclasses Dustin. And I just don't see that happening. No. I just think that Dustin can take enough shots to give him back. And Conor can't take nothing. Conor cannot take. He's like a glass person. Like you touch him a couple times, he's gonna suck his gas tank, and then he's not gonna be able to hit as hard. And if he can't hit as hard, that's it. That's it for him. You kick him now we see, he doesn't have unusually strong legs or nerves that are hidden behind certain muscles. So, he gets some nerve damage in his leg, boom, done. He goes to the ground,
calf
done.
kick.
Dustin gets some hits on him, done. So it's like there's too many chances for Conor to get rocked. It's got to be absolutely perfect. But I do agree with you. At the end of the day, they got to be standing. Neither one of them like to go to the ground, even though Dustin could easily probably win this fight in the ground. And
I really think he can, dude.
I think he's just going to stand and try to trade with him like he did in the first and think he can beat him. And I think Conor's going to be a lot more prepared for that and come in with a lot more kicks and a lot more distance so he can't be getting kicked in the legs. And, I'm going to have to go with Conor in this one. After all the praise I give Dustin, I just don't think if Conor really takes things seriously, I just don't think a second time through that Dustin can handle all that. He got touched one time, and that was probably the scariest thing for either fighter on either side the whole time. Once Conor got his leg picked out, everybody knew it was just when.
Yeah.
Not if, it was when Conor was going to go down.
But
when it was even, Conor got him real quick, and it was like, oh my gosh, this guy's about to get it. So like, we'll see. I'm going to pick Conor if I had to put money on it. But I still, a lot of praise to Dustin. I really think heart of hearts he probably will win. But I don't put my money on Conor.
He really showed his toolbox that last match, right? The beginning of the first round, there was a takedown. You know what I'm saying? And Conor was still dominating the middle of the octagon, but all of a sudden you got that calf kick. And then like somewhere between the second and third kick, you could see Conor, his body language and him trying to lean forward on it. Because I think that he's got his back foot, but that lean forward thing really helps you secure that left hand, because when you throw the left, you have to be able to pull back and not get caught too, right? Which is how he uses his reach. So that lead leg gets kicked out like that. You're hesitant to load up, because if you load up and if you don't get him, you know what I'm saying? You leave yourself to open to get pieced up a little bit. And Dustin is a combination KO guy, because we've seen him fight Eddie Alvarez and stay in the pocket and fight and knock out Eddie Alvarez. We've seen him fight Justin Gaethje, which I thought was like match of the year. And they just stayed in the middle, because Justin Gaethje back then was about going into the middle. And if I get finished, I get finished. If I win, I win, because that's the guy has, Justin Gaethje is a whole different animal. I think the guy has 7 fights and 9 bonuses. Just as you have more bonuses than he has fights. He's right, performance of the night and like fight of the night. So, but Dustin, man, he I don't think there's a 155 or better than weathering the storm and saying, hey, I'm still here, and I got some badass boxing, dude. I got some nasty combinations. And, so when I saw him take down Conor, when I saw him do that calf kick, and then I saw him eat some shots that 145 looked like it would have been a problem. I was like, wait, let's see what happens Conor's second round. The worst thing that's happened to Conor in all of his matches happened in the second round, right? Even Eddie, Chad Mendes, right? Most of that fight, Chad was winning until Conor found a way to get up, which, by the way, his ground game isn't as strong as like a lot of the fighters, but it doesn't mean it sucks. The guy finds a way to get up. The guy found a way to get up when Khabib took him down. He found a way to get up when Dustin took him down. So I don't expect him to do some triangle choke or catch someone in the armbar on the ground, but maybe his coaches spend more time, helping him get up, and he's done that successfully. I give him that. And plus, you're 5'9" and you have a 6'4" wingspan. 74 inches. No, 6'2" wingspan. You're gonna have a longer reach than almost everyone. He's had a longer reach than everyone he's fought against except Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is 76. He's the one that's a 6'4" wingspan. So all right, we got our winners. I'm gonna scroll to the main card and I'm gonna scroll to the prelims. What is a match of interest besides the main event that you're interested in seeing? So this is I'm gonna just give you mine, and then I'm gonna go back to you. I'm gonna just say one thing, and I'm gonna just one name, and I'm gonna go back to you. This right here, Condit and Max Griffin. That's the one I want to see. That's the prelim. That's the main event prelim.
First of all, I think there's only 2 fights on this that I would go and get popcorn for. Everything else, I'm sitting down the whole time. Every single fight on this card is like, even in the early prelims, they have Jessica I in the early prelims.
Yes, let me see.
I'm like, what?
Yes, and Jennifer Maia,
Jessica I. So I'm like,
how about Tavares and Omari?
That's what I mean. I'm like, what is going on? This is crazy. You got Jerome Riviere. So it's like, I'm really excited to see Ryan Hall. I've actually now seen him fight live, so that would be fantastic. And then Pereira and Nico Price is going to be freaking fireworks. Yes. But the fight I really want to see is Tui Tassavoya.
Tuivasa. It's Tuivasa.
Versus Greg Hardy, because no matter what, someone's going down hard. Yeah. And then if it's Tuivasa, okay, Greg Hardy's real. But if it's Greg Hardy, he's had it coming. And Tuivasa, let me tell you, the way he hits, if he's going out, he's going out. Mm-hmm. He's going out. I don't think there's anybody else who hits as hard as Tuivasa. Then obviously there's Ngannou. There's no one even
Yeah,
close to him.
yeah,
But
Ngannou
there's
hits
like
like a Porsche.
Rosenstruck,
Mhm.
Tuivasa, and Derek Lewis. All three of them, you can just choose who's which. Who's who.
Yeah, I got to tell you,
It's like, damn.
I'm not an anti-decision guy. I'm a fan of decisions if the fight is like Griffin and Bonner, or if remember
Right.
Jones and Gustafson's first fight, and one of the biggest surprises, which I thought was going to be a disappointing fight with Kobe Covington and Kamaru Usman.
Usman.
Watching them beat the two guys that won each other that bad for 5 rounds, two wrestlers, and not one takedown attempt. I'm looking forward to that rematch, and I think they have to run that back. But
They're running it back.
But with that being said, Tia Tuivasa and Greg Hardy, if that goes to a decision, I'm gonna be mad. Everything I just said, right? In the same breath, dude, I'm gonna be disappointed if that goes to a decision. Yeah. They have to stand in the middle. I don't want to see no staring contest, because we're salivating at like what's gonna happen and who gets caught or this or that. But just like Francis Ngannou and Derek Lewis proved to us that even heavyweights can disappoint.
Right, and I just don't think two knockout guys should be maybe just because even like Ngannou, cool, like they are the heavyweight championship, but like you don't always have to have the heavyweight as the top main card fight, So I think it should be like you should never have an MMA only like two guys that are knockout power as that number one last fight of the night, because there's just too much possibility that it's going to be a standoff like that.
Right.
Very rarely you just have two knockout guys that just go at it and just rock each other. Just like Rosenstruck and Ngannou, like that rarely happens, man. That rarely happens.
No, yeah, that was. I mean, if I told you that happened, you wouldn't believe me. Like if you've seen them fight, every single fight except each other, that was the one you missed. You're like, no way that they only throw 27 total attempts in 3 rounds.
Right. Oh,
come on. No, that was just. What is that, like 8 around?
Ngannou,
is it like 9 total around?
Right. It was bad.
5-minute rounds.
It was like Ngannou versus Oliver Overstein, like
Alistair
Overeem.
Yeah,
that was
KO.
a wild fight. Wild fight.
Yeah.
But rarely does that happen.
I mean, that was a wild fight because he's a good counter striker, and Ngannou is very good at coming forward. I mean, Overeem sets you up. Overeem is literally sometimes turned around, running away to make you think he's afraid, so he could catch you with a knee.
Turns back around him. Yeah, that's that WWE MMA.
Like Ric Flair, no, time out.
Oh.
Thumb in the eye. Woo! Oh, man. So listen, we are going to pick more of the winners on Quick Question. We'll go down the line, at least on the main card on Quick Question. So, but for now, let's wrap up UFC, or mixed martial arts, should I say. We'll talk a little bit about Bellator next week. Chris Cyborg did her thing. They still have a Grand Prix tournament going on there for a light heavyweight. So, topic 3. We're going to beach volleyball because it's our wheelhouse. All right, so before I say what I gotta say, the reason why a lot of people hear me blabbing more than Rob on some of these podcasts about volleyball is I never want to put my contemporaries in a position where they are still active players, where they find themselves critiquing people who are also active players. It's not something players like him and other people are comfortable doing. You just don't do it when you're an active player. Usually when you're retired, we can barbershop talk all we want. So for me, I always try to shape my question carefully because besides the NBA, you're not going to find a more sensitive bunch of cats than beach volleyball players. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, for me, and only for me alone, I attack volleyball players with volleyball. You're just gonna have to handle it, or come see me. But the reason why you don't hear Rob talk for everybody listening too much about that, because he wants to say something positive, or he just or he'll be fair. But a lot of times, I feel like I have to carry that water, and I'm not trying to make you comfortable. But with that being said, let's just do something fun. This is the Olympics, and everybody wants to pick winners. So the question is, we already know which American teams are going. The pools came out. yesterday, so the pools are set. So we're going to go through some of the pools where the American teams are in and discuss which obstacles are problematic for them as they get in and out of pool play. All right. So I'm just going to pull it up. If I could find it. There it is. Let's do the women first. So let's find Alex and April, and let's pick a team in their pool that might present problems for them. Oops. Let's do that. Boom, let's
think about that. Oh, that's right. I was like, first of all, I had to say, Pavin and Paredes got a tough pool.
Yeah,
like that. They're number 2. That's rough. But hey, that's kind of how the snake goes.
Ain't nobody doing them no favors.
I think.
And Sudan is good too, dude.
Right. I think Alex and April got a fantastic draw. Mm-hmm. I think they, you know, all those teams, I look at them and I'm saying, okay, we got this, but that Netherlands team is tough, you gotta definitely, stay strong on them and play your best game and hopefully come out, 21-18, 21-17, and just keep it strong win. When you're talking about Claes and Sponsel, obviously one of the last teams to get in, oof.
Yeah, dude, you can't pick a worse stylistic matchup than Rebecca and Anna Patricia. You know how like styles make matches? You couldn't pick a worse stylistic matchup for Claes and Sponsor than those two girls, especially if Rebecca is up and she's eating her eggs and bacon and she's happy. She got food in her system and ready, and she's in the mood to play. Look. Claes and Sponsors has made liars of a lot of people the last few months. So I'm not saying never say never, but to me, the most important match for them in this pool, Rob, is the Latvians. Yeah. That's the must-have. I think they'll beat the Kenyan team. I think they will do so with relative ease with respect to Kenya. I think, in fact, I think one of those scores is going to be a beer game. I think they're going to hold them under 10 one of them games. But look, Claes, Gradina is starting an argument right now where like Claes, and Sarah Hughes weren't even the best players at USC, much less in this pool, right? In my humble opinion, I think she's the best player to come out of USC because she's already done and she's still got another year. She was their best player as a freshman, dude.
I don't know, bro.
As a goofy foot,
So all I gotta say is Sponsel. Claes, in my opinion, maybe not the best player to come out of USC at the time that she came out of USC.
At the time it was Sarah Hughes, right? Well, that's what they were saying.
But even Tina is like, I think the argument that she's trying to make is that like she's the best player at the time of coming out of USC, which sure, she could make that argument. And I'd probably agree with that maybe. But now, are we talking about now, or even what possibly Tina could possibly be? I don't think that's going to pass up.
But look, Claes and Sponsor, Claes and Sarah Hughes played at a time period where they were feasting on everybody else, putting together that were mix and matching indoor and outdoor teams. Tina Gradina comes in as the hunted, right? And everybody else is now recruiting people who play exclusively on the beach. And there is pressure of being the number one team, and anything less than winning the chip is a fail. So that's a pressure too that also Claes had to do, right? Yeah. Okay,
but then I would say to that is then why didn't they put up the record that Hughes and Claes are in the sense that they have that type of training, they're that much better because LSU did that.
Perfect.
So it's not.
They didn't lose any. They're a different class because they didn't lose any.
Right, but the essence is that it's still doable. It's not like impossible because that level is climbed to such a level. And that if they're that type of player, if they did at the same school in the same conference, I would say there's more there. But that's what I'm saying. If we're just talking about the player itself, not statistically, because that's going to be tough. Yeah. I think at the time coming out, sure she's better, but Claes she was very young still at that time, and she's very much grown into her game.
Absolutely. Dude, look, dude, if we're talking right now, it's Claes. Clay's
Yeah.
Clay's is,
No, of course.
has look. Her first of all, her poke game is wicked. Second of all, her jump serve was always hard, but now her serve to space is more accurate. And these pressure situations where you almost want them to serve her because you expected her to fold back then. She's got that killer instinct. Like, please serve me. I'm a win. You're giving me the win. Go ahead, give me. I got the best setter in women's volleyball right now. A little FBI on that catch and release, but she's a good at holding her platform. She can run a back set. She can run whatever, this and that. And Kelly Clays is definitely the superior player over Tina Gradina. But at the same time, we got to agree that this second 2 versus 3 is very, very important. I think the third place teams, I think there's 4 wild card spots for like third place teams, and I'll double check that later. Or someone could just message us and tell me how wrong I am and what is his credentials. He shouldn't be talking, blah blah blah. And I always have fun with those never mind. Ooh, almost got me. But that's gonna be. They win that game, then they have less pressure playing Agatha and Duda, who I think they probably play last in the pool. They both come in. Sorry, you're right, Patricia and Rebecca. Yeah, if that match is last and both teams are 2-0, that's the match I'm interested in seeing because there's less pressure. They're both gonna go. They're both headed to the playoffs and go ahead.
Wait a sec. Is Anna Patricia and Rebecca the 4 and Agatha and Duda the 5?
No, I think Anna and Rebecca are the 3 and the 5.
Wow.
I'm not really sure. I mean, I looked at...
Well, just post the pools up real quick.
Oh, sorry. Interesting. Yeah, let's do that. Pool A.
No, yeah, so Duda's 3 and Patricia's 4.
They are.
That's
You're
crazy,
right.
though.
Yeah.
That's crazy, though. 2 Brazilian teams and a 3-4.
Let me tell you something. A lot of people are talking about American teams like they wish that they could allow more than 2 teams and this and that or whatever. And I tell them, I'm like, tell that to Brazil, dude.
Right.
Tell that to Brazil that has like 5 women's teams, all of them worthy going to the Olympics. You can't say all 5 teams. I mean, I really love me some Stockman and Kalinske, and maybe they're still young and maybe they'll be good enough to go next time. But Brazil's, America didn't lose by not having Kerry and Brooke in. At the end of the day, Kerry's still my favorite player, even now. But if either you're good enough or you're not, and again, if she had Betsy Flint with respect to Brooke Sweat, Betsy Flint was like the poor girl's Misty May, man. It would be a different story.
Yeah. I'm sorry. There ain't nobody that's in the Olympics, that makes the team that's saying, oh, man, I wish we had 3 teams here.
Yeah.
So it's
I did for the men. I really wish I had
Olympic
Try and Trevor, man. But we're going to go to the men next. But
right. But guess what? They're going to be front runners for the next year. That's how it works.
Still mad young. Yeah.
It should be the accomplishment of going to 2 Olympics as opposed to, oh, I got in the Olympics when I'm young. Now I get to get as many Olympics as I possibly can. It's like that should be the goal from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Well, so I just think it's just people who don't try and make that a goal and then try to make a conversation about what other people should do to make that a goal. Does not make sense.
Well, for me, the goal is to get 2 teams in that believe that they can win. They believe they can win. Why do you think I've been called like the biggest Slays hater, because I said a month ago that I didn't think that team thought that they could win, and a lot of people thought that was unfair. And looking back retrospectively, what I said was unfair, but fairness is a place where you judge pigs, okay? So, and at the end of the day, either you're good enough or you're not, and if they are, cool, I'll eat them words. I'm talking Esh, I'll eat those turds. Just give me a little bit of Peter Luger steak sauce so it don't taste completely bad, and I'll eat that crow or whatever. But yeah, so let's do the men. Sorry, I went off on a tangent right there. We're doing the men, and boom. Damn, they didn't do Crab and Gibb no favors, did they?
No, they did not. They didn't do nobody no favors. I mean, you got Brower, Muizen, and you got Alisson and Alvaro against the Senadaz. That's a toss-up. And Argentina ain't bad either.
No,
I'll tell you that.
No, Capagrosso is a good player. Yeah,
they could steal, a game from one of those teams. One of those teams don't go on a good day. Netherlands, like they do a good job digging a hard driven ball. They could beat
Mm.
Netherlands. They do a good job of controlling the situations or just serving one guy and finding the thing with Brazil. They could definitely steal a game for Brazil or the match for Brazil. And same thing with Nick and Phil. I think that pool D is very difficult. But man, Taylor and Jake, yeah, they didn't get any help. Qatar is like they are a top three
Yeah.
team. That's crazy that they're a
Playing their
top
best
three team
volleyball at the
out
right
there.
time.
Holy crap!
Right? Playing their best
But
volleyball at the right time, dude.
but I gotta say, what is up with this pool F, man? Like, what is going on? Did they
Yeah.
just take it and then like flip it completely in reverse? Because Lozak
They gave the
Cantor,
host the 1 seed.
yeah,
Come
and
on.
then you got Thol and Wickler. You've got the what is it? The world champions in 2019. You got
Mhm.
the Olympic champions in 2018, and you have the what is it? The European championships in 2021 in one pool.
Pool F, you mean?
Yeah, pool F.
Yeah, Nikolai and Lupo were silver medalists, like in
Silver
2016
medals.
too.
There you
Yeah,
go. There you go.
Olympics.
Silver medalist in 2016.
Cantor and Lochak,
Crazy.
dude. That's I don't.
That's a wild pool, man.
Well, what's wild
That's a
about the
wild
men
pool.
right now is you don't really see a beer bracket. Like Semenov and Guevara, the Spaniards from Molinsorum. I mean, they're heavily favored to win that whole pool. But you look at Semenov, who's a streaky blocker. The Spaniards, I mean, they're favored to beat, but they're not an easy out. But we pick Molinsorum. But that's as close to a beer bracket as you're gonna get in this heavily competitive Olympics.
Yeah, this pool
Plavins
B
and
is
Tokes,
tough.
the Latvians are good. But all right, so obstacles for Gibb and Crab. Obviously Qatar. Just like Anna, Patricia, and Rebecca for Team Slays, you couldn't pick a stylistically worser matchup for Crab and Gibb. Can they win?
Yeah.
Yes, but that's their obstacle. Karambula and Rossi. Honestly, you couldn't pick a worser matchup for Karambula and Rossi than Crab and Gibb. I think where styles make matchups is all those things that Karambula does to deceive or trick their opponents. I'm telling you, Taylor runs down that nonsense. Taylor will make him make mistakes trying to be cute. That dude, I mean, I don't know what Karambula's going to try to do it against Jake, but Taylor right now is playing defense as far as speed and twitch the same way Bruno was. He's pursuing some of these up and downs in 0.89 seconds. And
Depending on who they serve again.
where they serve
Um,
Gibb and match up Rossi against him, and that's how I see their path to beat Jake and Taylor. I think Jake and Taylor come second out of this pool though. I think yeah. What do you think?
I really don't know. I think it's going to be a great pool to watch.
It is, dude.
I think the Switzerland team is a tough team, man. I mean, they
Yeah.
got a big guy and a good defender. That's a tough game too. So I don't think there's any easy games, but I actually think that's better for Taylor and Jake because they're going to be locked in and engaged from the get-go.
Yep.
You cannot drop any games. You got to make sure everything's a win.
Yep.
And I actually think that Rossi Cameron is a really bad matchup for them.
Yeah.
Just because I don't think they really try to mess with the defender as much as they try to mess with the block.
Right.
Try to move the block around. And then I'm not saying Jake can't do it, but that's like a lot of work. That's probably the game they don't want to have early on in the tournament.
Yeah.
To have to win to get out. But
I always
challenges.
look at people's state of mind, like if they're having off games or like what kind of game face and this and that. And Taylor Crabb, when he won New York, the camera zoomed in when they were announcing like the players, like Mark Schumann was doing his thing, like we know he does well, one of the best MCs in the business. Even though Dave Shaw, I got to plug in Dave Shaw. Dave Shaw is the best MC I've ever met for any sport. I met him in New Orleans, and you got to meet this dude. I'll tell you stories about him later. But Taylor, the camera zoomed in on Taylor's face, and he had this particular look on his face that looked like, have you ever saw Shawshank Redemption? Like Tim Robbins' character? Like he had that look on his face like, oh man, excuse me. But he had this look on his face like he knew something nobody else did. like the bars and the cage, and the cell walls weren't even around him. Like he was walking like he was a free person. That's the look Taylor had before he won. He beat Slick and Allen to win the AVP. And I ran into Taylor yesterday, and he had that, and he has that look, that this tranquil, I'm in a good place, and I think I'm putting words in his mouth, but I think I'm the best player. I'm the best player in the world, certainly one of the best defenders, and now I have the honor, duty, and privilege of showing the world what I'm made of. Because he knows the rest of the world didn't have him in that conversation. America did. America's like, oh, he's the best defender in the world. Like people on the domestic scene, oh, best defender in the world, best defender in the world. But me and you knew kind of better. There's Lupo, there's Guto. There were just so many, Christian Sorum, but he's got that look, man, and I'm very, very confident. I do see them finishing second in that pool, and if they finish, and if they beat Qatar, man, that's icing on the cake. Because Qatar stylistically should finish first. Like if you look at how styles make matchups, I see them beating all three of these teams. That's my just saying thing. For everybody at home, relax. We're just having fun, okay? Predictions and being right or wrong is fun. Shut up. Shut your mouth. Pool D. Let's go back. Oh, God. Let's zoom in on this nightmare. Now, Phil and Nick. Phil has a way of, if he looks like he's not interested, like by the time the Olympics come, he gets interested. So, because he's a professional, and that's what professionals do. And Lucena is ×3. So, Argentina's tough. Brouwer Meusen, stylistically, that's a match. If Phil and Nick do their job, I think they win. And I see them coming second out of this pool too. But you raised the question: how good is Azar and Capagrosso gonna be, man? How's this Argentinian team gonna do, man? These relative unknowns, man. You got to watch out for them, man.
That's true.
So, but Alvaro's
just
playing.
to change the rankings. All it takes is one set. And it's not going to go a perfect 3-0 to the number ones. Somebody's going to drop a game. Somebody's going to drop a match here or there. So, you kind of just look for those. Not to cut you off, but when you look at at this pool, I feel like when you look from Nick and Phil's perspective, it's like, yeah, ooh, man, we got some two tough teams here. But if you look downwards, from that number one perspective, they're like, damn, like we got one of the Olympic champions, some really experienced players, Brouwer, Meusen, and Phil and Nick. That's a tough pool all around, and I think that any one of those three teams could win that pool. Yeah. Any one of those three teams, So I just think it's the biggest toss up. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing for Phil and Nick. I think that's a really amazing situation to be in, being a third team in the pool and being in the mix for that number one. So I just think that they just got to come out all cylinders firing and make sure they involve that on two game.
Man, that option is golden.
Deadly.
That's everything.
Yeah.
But you have. I'll tell you this though: if Team Slays comes out first in their pool, I see them in the semifinals. If they beat the Brazilians in pool, I do see them having semis. I get it. And April and Alex and the Canadians, we had them as 1 and 1A the whole time, and I think everyone does their job, and I see them in the semis, if not meeting each other in the finals too. So.
I don't want to talk bad because, I wish Melissa and Sarah the best, but they got a tough pool, man.
No one did them no favors.
And I know everybody's beaten everybody before, but that Swiss team is tough, man. That is going to be a tough game for them.
Let's go back. We got to go back. Let's go back. What the hell, man? And what the hell?
I'm not saying they can't, they could easily crush all three of those teams. But man, if I'm looking at that second, I'll take that second, I'll take that second seed over the first seed if I'm looking at pools. Like Alex April here, just take our pool.
Oh, dude. Yeah, what a fun discussion. We'll talk a little bit later before the Olympics start about maybe the probability of any of the men's teams medaling or whatever. The women's scene it looks a lot more optimistic. And this is just my eye test, of basically what I've seen in the last few months and the momentum going in. But man, I would really, really be happy to have Jake and Taylor, or whatever. Taylor's gonna come on. He's gonna come on the podcast after the Olympics. We're gonna chit chat about having some fun. As you know, we're gonna be doing our thing in Atlantic City when they're in Tokyo, and everybody comes back happy. All right, hey, that wraps up Olympics. I thought we did a good job without stepping on too many toes, which honestly, if they gotta go, they gotta go. But hey, one of my favorite topics, and we got a good one for you, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you to shame or not to shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame.
Man, we're bringing it in late, dude. Sorry, buddy. Let's do my clock. Do I see my clock? Let's find the clock. And there's Rob. Actually, if we can go back, that would be nice. Come check out the option. No. Come check out. This is why we need Miranda, right? This is why we need. Where's my tech? This is why we need. Where's Miranda? All right, Rob. To shame or not to shame? Basically, Sha'Carri Richardson tested positive for cannabis, which is which is also known as a type of marijuana, and has to serve a 30-day suspension, which will make her miss the 100-meter dash, where she's like pretty much one of, I guess voted the touted the fastest woman alive. So her testing positive for this test, she sends a tweet saying, "I'm human," and then in the same breath saying, "I'm sorry," or whatever, which it's weird because some of it's apologetic and some of it's like, hey, I messed up. It's not human. So Rob, you go first. Test positive for this. I'm giving you a whole minute to shame or not to shame. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I say shame, but I don't want to say, shame on her. It's just shame for the situation. The way I see it is, she spent her whole career, getting to this situation, and it really doesn't have anything to do with race or even weed at that instance. It really has everything to do with everybody needs to be on a fair playing level. Now, if you understand, I learned this back with Lance Armstrong. The reason why weed is legalized or is illegal in these Olympic competitions because you can use marijuana or THC to mask taking steroids or taking performance enhancing drugs. So it's a very difficult line to play when you're talking about athletics, you're talking about, medical marijuana even. And it's just very, very tough for them to separate the difference between like medical marijuana, let's say, and steroids. So on that instance, there's a reason why that rule's there, and she cannot break those rules, no matter what it is. That's a bad support system around you. That's, whatever it happens to be, it's your job to play within the rules so that you can show that you are a clean athlete and this is the time you're at and there's no questions asked. I understand that there's things, sometimes you need a break off, but hey, don't go train for a week. Don't go, don't do certain things that really can help you get that stress level down or, spend the time with your family. But if you're trying to, lose your job or lose the thing you've been working on for your whole life, just so that you can advocate now that weed should be legalized in the sport and it's not that bad and it's for my mental health, that's really a reactionary type of point as opposed to, for years, I've been advocating that I need this for my mental health. And yet now this situation comes up and the rules are in place and I've broken the rules. I understand. I'm sorry. I'm human, but I need this. It would be a lot different story. But now it just seems as though they're creating a narrative to help ease the situation at hand, which is just not true. If you really come out and say sorry, maybe you can get that, relay on that 4x100 and be an Olympian and get that gold medal, and hopefully in 4 years you'll be able to train again and fight for that individual goal.
Fight for what's hers. Yeah. Well, Rob, I'm gonna go shame, and because you've covered so much on the other part, I'm gonna go the route that I choose, and I'm gonna throw the legality and the illegality of weed out of the window. We're not talking about We're talking about banned substances, and there's a banned substance list. There are things that are on the banned substance list that are perfectly legal, like high levels of aspirin. You can't even take, that might pop up for some kind of chemical, whatever. Caffeine, heightened levels of caffeine. So there are going to be so many things that are perfectly legal for you to take as a human being, but on the banned substance list. And then you have things that are illegal to take that are not mentioned on the banned substance list. It's just crazy, right? We as mixed martial arts fans, we almost feel like doctors and experts on this thing. So with that being said, I will say this with only 10 seconds ago. If you know it's on the banned substance list and you know you got a competition coming up and it's an out of competition banned substance or illegal thing to do, and you know you're gonna test for it and you come up hot, I gotta go shame. Rob, I gotta go shame because you all right. I'll put it like this. Let me put it like this. We're both biracial, right? We have mixed parents, and in many ways, I identify with being just as black as I do white. And my question is this: why are we the only ones getting busted for weed? How many white people do you see pop for weed, right? They're like, oh, that guy. And I'm like, all right, that's the one. That's the one. Good for you, But and Stephen A. Smith said it. Are you trying to tell me that you have all these sponsors that can lead to fame, that can lead to glory, and definitely some monetary benefit, and they tell you for this short time span, all you have to do is stay off the weeds? No. We tell football players or basketball players, I never saw a joint that was worth $10 million. I never saw a joint that was worth $8 million and this and that. And I am not challenging the legality of it. We all know it should be legal. We know the benefits of hemp and cannabis are as far as our drugs versus their drugs, what they want you to take that are neurologically addictive, like opioids and all that other stuff or whatever. That's a different argument because those are arguments that you make before the rules are laid out or before the collective bargaining agreements are laid out. But once the rules are set,
before you make a choice.
Yes, once the rules are set, you have to go by those rules and you have to eat it. You have to take that hot L just for a little bit until we revisit that. I don't buy that she's playing the martyr for them to do this and she's taking a hit for the team so everybody could whatever. I do believe that she used cannabis because she was grieving over her mom, and it was one of those things that I don't consider cannabis. If you consider cannabis neurologically addictive, that's different. Then she needs treatment. Or if you just call it one of those things where she made an active choice, then she made an active choice. But one way or another, she got to take that hot L. TRT. Testosterone replacement therapy, Rob, is also on the banned substance list because it serves as a masking agent for terbanolol and other types of performance enhancing drugs. So as far as gateway drugs are concerned in athletics and banned substances, oh my God, do we have a freaking problem, man? Yep. He's like, okay. He's like, you said it.
I mean, we do. Football is not the only sport that abuses opioids. It's even the average everyday person.
Anyone.
They have a surgery. They have back pain. They have. So it's.
Riley
I
Salmon.
think it's more.
I had Riley Salmon on the podcast. He was very, very open about, anyone that plays a sport that high, something's gonna hurt, and then they're gonna give you something where you're like, oh. That feels good. Can I have some more? Can I have some more? So, yeah, I'm so glad we covered that, and that was definitely worth spill overage for our 1 minute because that was super necessary, and I'm glad we're both on the same sheet on the music because this is supposed to be a debate show, but we covered two different areas of that. Super necessary, bro. Our next topic is quick question. Quick question. Oh, no, sorry. Quick question. Like that. See? Sang karaoke. Can't sing no more. Quick question. Will Aaron Rodgers play for the Packers this year? Yes or no?
No.
I say no. Will he go to Denver? How's that for a fun question?
No.
And I say no. I don't think he wants to be buried in Denver. I'm gonna go to a Wimbledon commercial question. I'm gonna put up the semifinals. Who wins Wimbledon between these four? I'm going with Kerber. I saw her play
Yeah.
golf, and I saw the way she handled golf, and she's my dark horse pick to win the whole thing.
That's still so unfair. I would love to get Kerber too. I believe she's a lefty, and I love my lefties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll go Kerber.
Yep.
No debate.
Cool, man. And for the men, I like Djokovic and Federer for a Wimbledon rematch. This is the quarterfinals, and they're I think they're gonna play tonight.
That's probably seen that. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I mean, who's gonna win the whole thing? Yeah, I'll probably go with Federer.
Yeah. I like Styles making matchups for some reason. I see them in the finals, but I see Djokovic winning again. All right, quick question. This is going to be very, very easy for us. We're just going to go down the line on the main card, winners and losers. Let's go Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Thompson.
ST. Stephen Thompson, man. What you got?
I got Stephen Thompson, man. I just think he's not doing things to burn himself out. The guy still looks young and fresh every match. You know, some of these fighters
he's been taking shots.
Yeah, but not in
though.
sparring though. You know, not in sparring.
Yeah.
Like Gilbert Burns looks like he's beat up before he even gets to the fight. Who do you got? Who do you got?
I got Stephen Thompson.
Okay, Tuivasa and Hardy. Tuivasa by KO actually, first round in fact. Irene Aldana versus Yana Konetsaya. I've seen Yana fight, so this is a blind pick for me. I'm gonna go with the fighter I know. I pick Yana.
I was gonna pick Yana as well.
Sean O'Malley against, I guess, a last minute sub. Wow, Chris Matino. I go with Sugar Shane.
I guess O'Malley.
I go with Sugar Sean. Yep. And let's pick the
what
prelim main event. Carlos Condit, Max Griffin.
Griffin.
I go Condit. Nico Price Pereira, man. That's goodness.
That's gonna be crazy.
I
I think I want to go Nico Price.
think I want to go Nico Price too. He's really good at weathering the storm. Cool, man. Hey, that's it for quick question. Hey guys, but before we go, this is July. This is the month where everybody's back, and I know some areas where they're mask free, like Wisconsin, mask free. Some places masks are optional. They go by an honor system, which by the way I think works, because I think a large percentage of people are too proud to say they didn't have the vaccine. so maybe that works out at the end for everybody, but. I would like to say to all of you before we go what Rob is going to say first. Rob, is there something you want to say to our population?
Stay healthy, stay happy, y'all.
That's all I wanted to say. I didn't want to take that away from you. That would have been stupid. That's your thing, man. That's your Russell Simmons thing. Be healthy. Stay happy. Okay? Love each other. Give someone a hug. Sing karaoke. Buy someone a drink, man. Celebrate. Continue to celebrate true independence. And here we are. So with that, I leave you with this. For all of you at home. For all of you on your iPhone at Starbucks. For all of you on your iPad. For all of you on your Droid. For all of you on your desktop who runs the world old school. For Rob, keep it McLean, this is episode 67 of Sports Debate Tuesday. Love you to pieces. So good to see you again, brother. Let's do it again next week, all right? We're out. Come check out the Option Podcast on OptionDB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.